So this project was inspired by this Pinterest find. I made mine in a gorgeous ruby red, but without the stand collar and buttons at the front. Here's how I did so. I'll be using a vintage single sewing machine, the 431G model, made in 1964. You would need the following measurements. The elbow to elbow span. This is the horizontal width from your left elbow crease to your right elbow crease. The width of the two rectangle fabric pieces will be based on this exact measurement. The dress length, taken from your highest shoulder point down to your ankle. The length to waist, taken vertically from the highest shoulder point down to the waistline. The bicep circumference, taken around the fullest part of your upper arm. The waist circumference, taken around the narrowest part of the waist above the belly button. I used the crepe fabric in medium weight, which did not need lining. So cut out two pieces of fabric. The width of each one is equal to the elbow to elbow span, one piece for the front and the other for the back. And the length of each fabric piece is equal to dress length plus 2 inches. The design is very simple. Two rectangles with neckline curves cut at the top, both joined at the side seams, with a gap that creates a sleeve opening, the waistline cinched with tucks, and then a zipper at the back. For extra clarity, I'm going to show how the fabric will be marked using a white sheet. Mark a 1/2 inch shoulder seam allowance at the top edge of the fabric. Then from the right and left edges, mark a point beneath that top line equal to half of your bicep circumference plus 4 inches. This gap will represent the sleeve opening. From the sleeve opening points, go inwards by 1 inch, which is a side seam allowance, and then mark the side seam lines down to the bottom edge. From the top line, mark out the length to waist and then draw the waistline between the side seam lines. Then, measure the waistline width between the side seam lines and divide the line into 6 equal parts. So you'll have 6 equal parts in the front piece and 6 equal parts in the back piece, making 12 in total. The length of the part lines is 5 inches, 3.5 inches above the waistline and 1.5 below the waistline. Label the front parts from A to G and label the back parts backwards from G to A. The fabric waistline width will be reduced to the waist circumference by sewing tucks into the parts. First, add 1 inch of wearing ease to your waist circumference, which will give your eased waist, and then find half of your eased waist. Next, subtract half of eased waist from the fabric waistline width. This gives the excess that needs to be removed using tucks. Then divide the tucks excess equally between the 6 parts. Because a tuck has 2 legs, place half of the tuck's excess units on either side of each part line. Then draw the tuck legs on either side of each part line, starting with B. Label the tuck legs with the corresponding small letter alphabets. Then C, then D, then E, then F, and then draw 1 tuck leg for G, and 1 tuck leg for A. And the identical small letter lines will be stitched together to create tucks. Same for the back piece. The small letters A and G will be stitched together when the front and back pieces are sewn together. Start sewing from the center tucks. Extend both small letter D lines to the top edge. Then stitch both lines against each other precisely, which creates the center tuck. And after sewing, you'll see a straight seam down the center from the outside of the fabric. And here are the neckline curve measurements. From the center seam, mark a point outwards by 2.25 from the top edge and downwards by 3.25 inches. Connect both points with a curved line and extend the base into the tuck. Then cut along the entire curved line. When the fabric is opened up, you'll see a round neckline. Now sew the remaining tucks. You could either use pins or hand basting stitches to hold the tucks down in place before sewing. Before sewing the back tucks, first attach the zipper. Either pin or hand sew the DD lines together to keep the fabric stable, and then cut out the neckline. Next, prepare the zipper area. Make sure to use an invisible zipper, at least 24 inches, could be more. The zip will be embedded within the center tuck. To create an opening for the zipper, place it against the DD line, then mark a point half an inch below the zipper tape. Draw a short horizontal line from that point, and then cut half an inch away from the DD line. Then remove the pins or hand stitches and open up the back piece fully. Attach the zipper with a half-inch seam allowance. I prefer to first hand baste my zip before sewing on the machine, as it keeps it more stable while stitching. I really love how the invisible zip gives a clean biscuit finish. Then stitch up the gap at the bottom. Fold the back piece in half. Stitch up the gap beside the zipper, and stitch up the gap beneath the zipper. You could simply pivot and do an L-shaped stitch. After sewing, the L-shaped stitch creates a nice inverted pleat at the bottom. Next, finish the seam allowance edge by the zipper. I used bias tape to bind mine, but you could also use a serger. I like the color contrast of the binding. And now the back tucks can be sewn. The zipper is within the center tuck. Stitch the corresponding FF, EE, BB, and CC tuck lines together. You could either hand baste or pin the tuck lines together before sewing. Hand basting gives more precise results. And here's the completed back piece with the zipper and tucks. Now join the front piece to the back piece. Connect the A tuck line in front to the A tuck line at the back, and connect the G tuck line in front to the G tuck line at the back. This creates the side tucks. Join both pieces at the sides, starting from the sleeve opening point all the way down to the bottom, and then join at the shoulders. Pin or hand baste the AAGG lines together before sewing. And after sewing the side seams, the unstitched gap reveals the sleeve opening. I finished the seams using my serger. I serged the shoulders, the sleeve opening, and the sides. To hem the sleeves, simply fold the seam allowance inwards and then press with an iron. You could either sew the folded edge with visible stitches or blind hem stitches. I use blind hem stitches because I like the discreet tailored finish. I also finished the bottom edge with blind stitches. Facing is attached to the neckline of the dress to close the edge. I'll be using patterns to explain this for extra clarity. Starting with the front, cut out a paper piece 4.5 inches wide and 5.5 inches long. Then mark the same neckline curve dimensions as the dress, inwards by 2.25 and downwards by 3.25. Connect both points with a curved line. Also connect the top left corner and the bottom right corner with a curved line. For the back, cut out a paper piece 5 inches wide and 5.5 inches long. Then draw a straight vertical line half an inch from the right edge. This represents the center back seam allowance area. Then draw the neck curve with the following dimensions. Then also draw the outer curve. Facings should be slightly smaller, so trim off 1/8 of an inch from the top left corner. Now cut out both patterns. The front will be cut on fold, and 2 pieces will be cut for the back. Press lightweight fusible interfacing onto a piece of fabric, and then place the front pattern against the folded edge and cut. For the back, place 2 pieces of fabric against each other and place the back pattern against the edge in perfect alignment and cut. So here's how to achieve a tailored finish with your neckline facing. After joining the front and back facing together, bind the bottom edge with some bias tip. A contrasting pop of color is always nice. It's a super helpful technique if you haven't got a serger. And then attach to the dress neckline. The facing will be stitched starting from the 1/2 inch seam allowance by the zipper on the dress all the way around the neckline curve to the other side. First, stitch around the neckline curve. Then sew a vertical stitch along the center back area just beside the zipper teeth. Then trim off all the excess and bulk and flip it inwards. But before that, understitch the facing by sewing it against the seam allowance 1/8 of an inch. This keeps it nice and flat. And here's the final result. Facing gives the neckline a nicely tailored finish, quite like lining. I love my new dress! It has a beautiful feminine silhouette, it was really simple to sew, and the color is absolutely gorgeous.